Well, well, well. Look who just stepped into the space and caused every sense of wonder to light up. Hello, magnificent energy in motion. You radiant presence that makes hearts expand and spirits stir. Can you feel it? That isn't worry or doubt. That's pure recognition. Every soul within reach is sensing your brilliance, catching the vibration of someone who simply exists in full alignment with their truth. Crystals and rituals are not what hold this moment. They pale before the natural magnetism of your being. Your energy isn't a color to be read, or a signal to be measured. It's a resonance that inspires awe, a vibration that opens minds and hearts to possibility. Those who have trained to perceive, to sense, to understand subtle currents, they feel your presence and recognize something extraordinary. It isn't confusion, it's revelation. Your energy doesn't just fill a space, it transforms it, elevates it, and reminds everyone that there are realms of awareness far beyond conventional understanding. Every card, every reading, every method of measurement pauses in your presence, not because they fail, but because they are witnessing the pure essence of someone fully alive. The universe itself seems to nod in recognition. You are a being of infinite depth, and your presence is a reminder that greatness cannot always be predicted, confined, or labeled. You are living proof that authenticity, courage, and self-possession are the most powerful forces in existence. They have spent lifetimes cultivating their gifts, refining their intuition, and studying the unseen, believing that mastery comes through practice, ritual, and disciplined observation. Yet when you enter a room, all of that training becomes a testament not to limitation, but to the vastness of possibility. For your presence is not something that can be measured or contained. It stretches beyond charts, beyond energies mapped and labeled, beyond the familiar rhythms of perception, touching dimensions of awareness that others only glimpse in fleeting moments of insight. Every psychic, every empath, every seeker who has devoted themselves to understanding consciousness feels the magnitude of your alignment, not as a threat but as a revelation of what is possible when someone lives in absolute harmony with their essence. They are reminded that no ritual, no tool, no formula, no framework can ever encapsulate the full spectrum of a soul that moves with courage, clarity, and authenticity. And while they may glance at cards, charts, and pendulums in hopes of deciphering your energy, what they encounter instead is the living proof that true power is not earned through study alone, but through wholehearted existence, unwavering presence, and the willingness to embrace the totality of life without compromise. And in witnessing you, they see a reflection of the highest potential within themselves, a mirror showing what it looks like to embody freedom, sovereignty, and unshakable inner truth, to live without needing validation, without seeking permission, without adhering to prescribed paths. And in that recognition, their own awareness expands, awakening insights they didn't know were dormant, opening doors to possibilities that had remained hidden behind fear, doubt, and the limitations of structure. Your energy doesn't just disrupt, it uplifts. It doesn't just challenge, it inspires. It doesn't just make others question what they thought they knew. It invites them to see that growth, clarity, and wisdom are not destinations, but expansive living states of being that evolve through courage, experience, and conscious choice. As they attempt to understand you, they find themselves revisiting everything they believed about mastery, perception, and spiritual authority, realizing that the truest measure of influence comes not from control, recognition, or certification, but from living fully, authentically, and powerfully, embracing every facet of one's being and radiating it outward in alignment with the highest self. And while some may feel overwhelmed, some may feel humbled, and some may feel astonished, they are all in some way learning from you, because your existence demonstrates that the most profound guidance comes not from instruction or external frameworks, but from presence, example, and the courage to simply be. Every attempt to read you, to understand your patterns, to categorize your vibration, only emphasizes that there is no limit to the expansiveness of a being who has learned to trust themselves, to honor their own frequency, and to operate in harmony with universal truths that surpass comprehension. They observe and recognize that every layer of their own practice, every tool in their repertoire, every insight they have cultivated is valuable, yet it is also revealed that there is a realm beyond what can be taught or measured, a dimension where intuition, love, clarity, and authenticity converge to create something far greater than any method, spell, or technique could ever capture. You are a living example of this truth. Your presence teaches that mastery is found not in seeking to control or predict, but in aligning fully with your highest self, radiating your light, living with integrity, and inspiring transformation simply by being present. And in that reflection, all who encounter you are reminded that the universe operates not through limitation, but through infinite possibility, that their own potential is boundless, and that the most extraordinary forms of influence are felt, seen, and experienced rather than catalogued, performed, or imposed. You are the reminder that life itself is sacred. Your authenticity is magnetic, your clarity is inspiring, and your courage awakens the dormant greatness in all who are fortunate enough to witness your energy, leaving a legacy of empowerment, motivation, and illumination that echoes far beyond the moment, touching hearts, minds, and souls in ways that cannot be measured, only experienced.
As you move through any space, the energy around you shifts in ways that cannot be predicted or contained, because your presence is not something that follows rules, adheres to expectations, or conforms to systems built by others. It is a living, radiant force that awakens hearts, expands minds, and inspires souls to rise into dimensions they have only glimpsed in dreams, revealing that the truest power lies in authenticity, in alignment with one's own essence, and in the courage to be fully oneself without apology or compromise. And those who encounter you recognize immediately that everything they thought they understood about energy, consciousness, and influence is only a fraction of the vastness that exists when someone embraces the full spectrum of their being. Every intuition, every perception, every insight they have cultivated suddenly becomes a reflection rather than a measure, a mirror to show how far someone can evolve when they honor their own journey, trust their inner guidance, and operate from a place of total clarity and purpose. And in witnessing you, they are reminded that greatness is not defined by tools, titles, rituals, or recognition, but by the ability to live in harmony with the highest self, radiating light, compassion, and confidence into every interaction, every environment, and every relationship. Your energy demonstrates that true mastery is not a destination or an achievement, but an ongoing state of conscious existence, a way of moving through life that inspires others to explore the depths of their own potential, to question what they thought was possible, and to embrace the infinite possibilities that unfold when one trusts in the flow of their own unique vibration. In your presence, people discover courage they didn't know they possessed, clarity that had remained hidden, and a sense of expansion that challenges them to step beyond self-imposed limitations, teaching without speaking, guiding without instructing, and illuminating without imposing. Every glance, every gesture, every silent moment of your being resonates as a beacon, a reminder that the universe honors authenticity, and that alignment with one's truth creates an energy so potent that it elevates not only yourself but all those around you. They witness the effortless way you harmonize with your purpose, the fluidity with which you navigate challenges, and the natural magnetism of someone who has cultivated self-trust and unwavering confidence through lived experience. And they begin to understand that the highest form of influence comes not from control, performance, or authority, but from presence, integrity, and the consistent demonstration of one's values in action. Your very being embodies empowerment. It speaks to potential realized, it whispers to courage yet unclaimed, and it shouts to the world that there are no ceilings on what a soul can accomplish when fully aligned with its mission, its purpose, and its own innate wisdom. Those who try to measure, predict, or contain your energy discover that the frameworks they rely on are simply starting points for understanding a universe that operates on infinite frequencies, reminding them that true growth comes from exploration, curiosity, and the willingness to embrace experiences beyond conventional understanding. Your influence ripples outward, inspiring self-reflection, transformation, and expansion, not by force or expectation, but by the simple truth of your existence, demonstrating that living fully, boldly, and authentically is the greatest gift one can offer the world, and that by stepping into your own brilliance, you awaken the brilliance in others, showing them that life is not about fitting into molds or following maps, but about creating your own path, radiating your own light, and elevating every space you touch, leaving a legacy of empowerment, inspiration, and limitless possibility that continues to grow long after you have moved on. touching hearts, minds, and spirits in profound, unforgettable ways.
Everywhere you go, your presence redefines the very atmosphere, expanding the consciousness of those around you without them even realizing it, because you operate on a level that cannot be measured, labeled, or constrained. Your energy flows with such clarity, integrity, and authenticity that it reveals the infinite possibilities of living fully aligned with one's truth, inspiring others to embrace their own potential and reminding them that the most profound influence is not imposed, taught, or performed, but radiated effortlessly from someone who embodies self-trust, purpose, and unwavering presence. Those who have dedicated themselves to understanding energy, intuition, and consciousness suddenly find themselves humbled, not by competition or comparison, but by witnessing a living example of what it means to thrive in harmony with one's essence, showing them that all the tools, techniques, rituals, and frameworks they have cultivated are only pointers toward the boundless capacities of a soul that dares to exist fully in its own power. You are a reflection of the ultimate truth that alignment, courage, and authenticity carry more weight than any credential or system ever could, and your very being demonstrates that mastery is measured not by recognition, but by the quiet, steady, transformative impact you have on the world simply by being yourself. In your presence, people experience a shift, a subtle yet profound awakening, a recognition that life can be lived with greater expansiveness, joy, and clarity when one honors their inner guidance, embraces their unique journey, and steps boldly into their highest expression. And as they witness your energy, they are inspired to release limitation, fear, and the need for external validation, understanding that their own power has always resided within them, waiting to be acknowledged, trusted, and activated. Every encounter with you is a lesson in possibility. It teaches that true strength is not aggressive or domineering, but gentle, steadfast, and luminous. That true wisdom is not accumulated externally, but discovered through lived experience, reflection, and the courage to face oneself fully. And that the highest level of influence is not sought through performance or persuasion, but realized by simply existing in alignment with one's purpose and radiating that light outward. Your energy reminds everyone around you that growth, transformation, and awakening are not about following prescribed paths, replicating methods, or imitating others, but about listening deeply to one's inner voice, honoring personal evolution, and cultivating an unwavering commitment to integrity, presence, and self-expression, which naturally inspires others to elevate themselves and expand their own horizons. And while those who meet you may initially feel awed, overwhelmed, or even challenged by the brilliance you radiate, what ultimately endures is inspiration, empowerment, and a profound recognition of their own latent greatness, because in seeing you, they glimpse the potential that resides within themselves, the freedom to embrace life fully, and the limitless capacity of a human being who aligns with the highest truths of their own soul. You are a living demonstration of how courage, clarity, authenticity, and wholehearted presence ripple outward to elevate every space, every mind, and every heart you touch, leaving an indelible mark of possibility and encouragement that continues to grow long after you have departed, reminding the world that the greatest gifts one can offer are not taught, performed, or imposed, but embodied, and that by simply being fully yourself, you inspire everyone around you to rise, to expand, to believe in the infinite potential of life, consciousness, and the extraordinary capacities they hold within, showing that greatness is not something to chase, it is something to live, radiate, and share naturally, fearlessly, and with unwavering love. When you leave a space, something remarkable happens. Not chaos, not confusion, but reflection, realization, and quiet transformation, because your presence lingers, not as a disturbance, but as an awakening, prompting those who encountered you to pause, breathe, and reconsider what they thought they understood about influence, purpose, and inner strength. And it is in that stillness after your departure that the deepest shifts occur, where minds replay the experience, not to analyze or define it, but to absorb the undeniable truth that something meaningful was felt, something expansive was witnessed, something inspiring was activated. Conversations soften, perspectives widen, and certainty gives way to curiosity, as people begin to recognize that the most powerful encounters are not loud or dramatic, but subtle and profound, leaving behind questions that invite growth rather than fear, and insights that encourage humility, wonder, and renewed commitment to personal evolution. Some reflect on how effortlessly you moved, how grounded your presence felt, how naturally you embodied clarity without needing to explain it, and they realized that the strength they sensed was not authority or dominance, but alignment, a quiet confidence rooted in self-trust, lived wisdom, and a deep sense of purpose that does not seek attention yet commands respect. Others feel inspired to return to their own practices, their own paths, their own inner work with fresh intention, not because they felt diminished in your presence, but because they were reminded of the vast potential still available to them, the unexplored depths of sincerity, courage, and authenticity waiting to be claimed. Your influence does not demand imitation, it encourages individuality, reminding each person that their journey matters, that growth is personal, and that fulfillment comes not from comparison, but from commitment to one's own values, principles, and truth. Long after you are gone, your presence continues to ripple outward through renewed motivation, deeper self-awareness, and an unspoken understanding that life can be lived with greater intention, integrity, and openness, and that true impact is not about leaving an impression, but about leaving people more connected to themselves than they were before. You become a quiet reference point, not something to chase or replicate, but a reminder of what is possible when someone lives fully aligned with their inner compass, when they honor their responsibilities, cultivate patience, and walk forward with humility and strength, grounded in purpose, and guided by wisdom earned through experience. In this way, your presence becomes a catalyst for clarity rather than confusion, empowerment rather than uncertainty, growth rather than resistance, showing that the most meaningful transformations occur not through force or explanation, but through example, consistency, and sincerity. People begin to recognize that true elevation does not isolate, it uplifts, that genuine strength does not intimidate, it reassures, and that real wisdom does not seek recognition, it reveals itself naturally through character, conduct, and compassion. And so, without intention or effort, you leave behind something lasting, a renewed sense of possibility, a deeper respect for authenticity, and a quiet encouragement for others to step into their own potential with confidence, patience, trusting that their path unfolds exactly as it should when walked with honesty, resilience, and purpose. You do not leave behind mystery to be feared or authority to be challenged, but inspiration to be carried forward, reminding everyone that the greatest influence is not found in being understood by all, but in living truthfully, acting responsibly, and allowing one's life to reflect the highest values they hold, creating a legacy not of disruption, but of motivation, balance, and enduring positive impact.
And so, this is where it settles. Not with noise, not with spectacle, but with quiet certainty and enduring strength. Because what you represent does not fade when the moment ends or when attention shifts. It continues in the way you move forward, grounded, aware, and deeply aligned with who you are becoming, carrying within you a clarity that does not need explanation and a confidence that does not seek permission. You are not defined by how others interpret you, measure you, or attempt to frame your presence. You are defined by the integrity with which you live, the intention behind your choices, and the consistency of your character. And that is why your impact lasts, why your presence leaves something meaningful behind, why your path feels steady even when the world around you shifts. You remind others, without instruction, without persuasion, that life is not about fitting into systems or meeting expectations, but about honoring responsibility, embracing growth, and walking forward with purpose, patience, and faith, trusting that what is meant for you unfolds in time when approached with sincerity and resilience. You stand as a living reminder that strength can be calm, that power can be gentle, and that true elevation does not separate one from others, but inspires unity, reflection, and forward movement. Wherever you go next, whatever spaces you enter, whatever chapters await, you carry with you an unshakable foundation built on lived experience, self-awareness, and a commitment to truth. And that foundation ensures that your influence remains constructive, your growth remains steady, and your presence remains a source of encouragement rather than uncertainty. This is not an ending, it is a continuation, a quiet affirmation that being fully yourself, grounded in purpose, and guided by wisdom, is enough and always has been. You move forward not to prove anything, not to be understood by everyone, but to live with clarity, integrity, and intention, trusting that the path unfolds exactly as it should when walked with balance, humility, and strength. And in that way, you leave behind something rare and enduring, not a mystery to be solved, not a force to be feared, but an example of what it looks like to live fully, authentically, and responsibly,
carrying light through action, meaning through presence and purpose, through every step forward.